Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey, what's up? Sorry, the first one, I don't know why I didn't get the first one, but the second one came through.
Okay, that's good. I sent it like 4 times, so
I
I
got
figured at
it would
some
like show
point.
up on my phone because I get notifications, but it
Uh-huh.
wasn't pulling up on my computer, except this last one came straight through.
Hmm.
So,
Weird.
well, am I the first one on?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm like that. Just kind of an overachiever.
I mean, I was on first technically, but
Okay, am I the only one that feels like every week it's like group one, take a picture of a quarter. Group two, take a picture of your foot. Group seven, go to Mars and take a personal photo on your cell phone of the rocket ship you used to get to Mars.
yep. That is actually very accurate.
Every week, it's like, I feel like ours is just ridiculous. Maybe we need to go to those office meetings and like talk to him.
Be like, hey, why
He
do you
doesn't
give us
like
all the hard ones? It's not like we did anything to you.
it. Maybe he has like a deep seated like vendetta against like one of our grandparents or like parents from like he like went to college with my dad and hates me. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like we have
That's
a much harder freaking assignment
probably
every.
SU Idaho.
So
Yeah.
I found something that kind of worked. I don't know that it's like a perfect example, but I was
Mhm.
actually pretty happy with what I found.
Yeah. Okay.
I will share in a moment when everyone gets on. I guess we're just waiting on Jacob, huh?
Yeah,
Because
because Lexi doesn't know when she's going to be able to get on, if at all.
that's I gotta. I had a so I meet with my potentially new boss.
Mhm.
We go to the same gym, so I'm supposed to meet him at the gym tonight and talk over the terms of my employment. So that's kind of late for a business meeting, but
Yeah.
I gotta head over there at 9 o'clock if I want to meet with him.
Okay.
I don't want to stand him up,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but otherwise I just kind of Thursday's like my craziest day of the week, so I just usually plan stuff before and after. So it kind of stinks when we move it around.
Yeah. When I would have started it a little bit earlier, except that I was eating. So
You what?
I was eating.
Oh, gotcha. I'm cleaning my shoes right now, so that's why I'm like
Fine.
trying to get the slush off them from the winter. So kind of like what did you end up finding an example that you used or are you just like making one up or what did you end up
So I found one on a different like website because I was
mm,
like, oh, maybe I can just like Google something and then type in like the topic from that article into the Wall Street Journal and find something. And I tried it for
mm.
like 3 different articles on like 3 completely different things and nothing was coming up. And so I just kind of gave up and was like, hey, I can't find anything. So here's an example from this other website.
See, I think if you looked for an example of the like something piercing the corporate veil, you'd have a hard time. But it also said we could use an example of the corporate veil protecting people, which
Hmm.
literally is any situation opposite, like any situation where a company owes money, the stockholders are protected, like their personal uh, property is protected by that,
Yeah.
unless they're committing like mass fraud, like using not even just like even fraud. A lot of times shareholders are protected.
Hmm.
The only time they can get in like a ton of trouble is if the business is basically just like a front, like it's nothing but fraud. That's when they can go after like the shareholders. And so literally like almost any situation where you just have a corporation that owes any money, it's protected by the corporate veil. And so that in that sense, it's actually easier than I thought to find it. because you don't have, because he said you could find an example of just like of it protecting its shareholders, which is literally all the time. Like it's always protecting shareholders of a corporation, unless it's basically just a front or fraud.
Yeah. Well, and like I tried like just looking up like corporate veil and like nothing was coming up. So I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to find it. Like I'd rather have a good example or like a great example from another source than have like a terrible example from the Wall Street.
Yeah. So what did you end up finding? What's it about?
So this was actually from a while ago. Oh no, this was recent. Just kidding. So it was from 2016. It's like this case from an employee who didn't get like the liability insurance from the company that he was working for. But like because the company didn't like get that for him, and this is in like Scotland or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and so like they breached their obligation under like the Scottish Employers Liability Act of 1969. And so basically like because he didn't have any insurance, like he was unable to file a claim after there was like an accident at the workplace. So anyways, so then like the company was liquidated, and he tried to claim damages against one of the directors, but then like the court during the case wouldn't let him wouldn't let him collect the damages from the director because of the corporate veil.
Gotcha. See, my example was just that there was Airbus was selling fighter jet. Oh, what's up, dude?
Hey man, sorry guys.
No worries. Airbus was selling fighter jets to Austria, and because they were like fraudulently, this is still unsettled yet, but Austria thinks that Airbus was fraudulent in their sales and like was lying basically about like it didn't receive a lot of like exposure on like what they were like how they were committing fraud or like but by what reason, but just said like basically the deal was fraudulent and that Airbus owes them a ton of money. And so I was just saying like I did my example that like all the shareholders are protected by the corporate veil, like even though Airbus might have to pay Austria or they might lose the suit and have to pay Austria, the shareholders are only liable up till like their investment in the company. Like once like their private property is protected if it happens to be more than Airbus can pay.
Yeah.
That was the best example I could find for it, which I thought was decent. And I mean, it was on Wall Street Journal, but I just ended up searching corporation fraud and the advanced search and like closing off like even though I searched that, it was still like political stuff that came up.
I know everything is
nothing to do with like politics at all, and it still came up. So I ended up going and doing like the advanced search and got rid of some of that stuff and finally found that article. So that's what I got.
Cool. That's a good one.
Jacob, was yours from the Wall Street Journal too?
Yeah. So mine was they just did a article on the Takata Corporation, and they're the ones that were making the airbags that were exploding on people. And so they just agreed to criminal wrongdoing and agreed to pay $1 billion in penalties. And so it was talking about just the details of their lawsuit and like the reparations. It requires them to pay, so much in criminal fines, so much to consumers harmed, and then also to the car companies to do recalls. But so kind of same thing as the Airbus thing you were talking about with, the shareholders are protected up to, the total investment in the company. After that, they're not going after investors for the criminal lawsuit. Nobody's getting charged criminally. So they're protected by that corporate veil.
Okay. Yeah, so I couldn't find anything in the Wall Street Journal, and I just explained that and I was just like, you know what, I looked and I tried to look for like articles from other places and then search for those things in the Wall Street Journal, and I couldn't come up with anything. So I just used one of the other articles, and I was telling Peyton, like, basically, so this guy, so this was in Scotland, and this guy that worked for a company, he didn't get, like, the company didn't give him the appropriate liability insurance that he needed. And so in doing so, like, since they didn't do it, they breached their obligation under the Scottish Employers' Liability Act of 1969. And so then, because the employee didn't have any insurance, he couldn't file a claim once, like, because there was like an accident in the workplace, he got injured, and he wasn't able to file a claim. And so then, but then, like, after that, the company liquidated, and so he tried to claim damages against one of the directors of the company. And so then, like, when it went to court, the court refused to let the employee collect the damages from it, which, so that they were, like, using the corporate veil to protect the director from being sued that money, or, like, having to give up all that,
Cool.
you know?
Yeah. That's a good one.
I was telling Allison before you got on, every time I log on and check the group assignment, it's like, group 1, take a picture of a quarter. Group 2, write 7 words that describe your hand. Group 3, oh, battery low. Group 3, write what color socks you're wearing. Group 7, build a spaceship and go to Mars. Take pictures of your spacecraft and send it in.
Yeah.
Every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, these are so, because I always just read everyone's.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, sweet, these won't be too bad. And then I get to ours and it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Give an example of an LLC. Give an example of a business. Find an article in which the corporate veil was penetrated and used to protect the directors that were corporate partners in the company. It's like, oh, what? What does that even mean?
I know. Everyone else's was like 3 words, and then ours was like 2 whole lines. And I was like, are you serious?
I think he's like pretty fair with grading, because one of the times we got a really hard one, I had a pretty bad example, and I still got like a fairly decent amount of points. So I think he's a little more lenient when you have like a hard question, but I feel like week after week, ours is just like ridiculous. Not that it'd be that bad, but just. But.
I lost you guys there for a second.
Yeah, I know. It like completely cut out. It was weird.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. I could pull up the form, but I have to leave in 7 minutes, and so I don't know if I'd be able to finish it.
I can pull it up.
I can see. Oh, you want to pull it up, Jacob?
Yeah, you're recording it. I'll pull it up.
Okay. Hopefully I can post it in the community this time. That was really annoying last time.
Yeah.
Like, it showed up once, and then, like, and it shows up for me, and so that's why I was like, I don't know if it's showing up for anyone else, you know, and I didn't want to, like, risk it. And then, like, when it did post, then it was, like, private, so I tried to fix it. And then, like, I could get to the video, but it still wasn't showing up in the community when I tried to repost it, so. I don't know. This time, though, I made sure it was public instead of private, so then it's not. Yeah. So I don't have to solve that problem this week. So I think we should use one of your guys' examples. Like, mine is good, but it's not from the Wall Street Journal, and I feel like he'd like it more if we had one from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
I'm fine with using either one. They're fine. If you're the one filling out the article, it'd probably be easy for you to just copy and paste your example in. But if you want, I can send mine over in an email in about 10 seconds.
Either way, I'll just put mine in there. There we go.
I've been good at saving mine lately.
Good.
Yay.
How's school going for you guys?
This is the only class I'm taking, so.
Sweet.
Great.
You lucky duck.
Well, I'm just home, like, so I've been working and stuff, and I wasn't supposed to work today, and then I got called in from like 2 to 6, so yeah. So it gave me less time to find my example. Yeah.
Are you guys? When do you guys have to register for next semester?
Mhm.
Soon. That reminds me, I gotta Google that. I think it's like,
Yeah.
like a few days.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
I
mine's on
was
the
asking
8th.
'cause I have to register tomorrow.
Mine is the 7th.
Yeah. If you go on to like the class schedule, like even before you sure it'll tell you what date.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can now. It was
Okay.
tripping out
Yeah.
really bad for a little
It was-
while.
Yeah.
That was weird.
All right. So let's jet through this real quick. So the explanation of the example would be corporate veil protects board and stock holders. Okay, so what I got for our explanation of the example is the corporate veil protects the board and stockholders from the criminal suit and losses beyond the investment, beyond their investment in the company.
Perfect.
Okay.
So what should our quiz question be?
This is hard because our like topic is so complicated, but he doesn't want the questions to be complicated. So it's like, well, what do you want us to do?
I mean, this week we could do something funny like not funny. We could do something simple like what's corporate veil? What is corporate veil?
Or like what situation would be appropriate to pierce the corporate veil? Honestly, what is a corporate veil would be fine too.
Yeah, so I mean, I like your what situation would
I feel like our question was directed more towards like what like allows you to pierce the veil. Like that's more like what they want to know, and less like what is the veil.
Mhm. So and
That's how our question was directed.
and that'll be easier to put questions on your one. So what situation would allow corporate veil to be pierced? What should be our correct answer?
Like, well, I mean, it is like if the company's like basically based, like its sole purpose is like fraud,
Yeah, so it says like a
then
fraudulent
at that point,
or like so okay, so I'm looking at the book.
because some legit companies commit fraud, and that's not enough to like. But sometimes, like if a company's built for the purpose of like laundering money, or like it's built to rip people off, like that's the only reason the corporation was formed. In that case, the people, like the shareholders, and especially like I think it said if the shareholders were like super limited, like it was 1 or 2 shareholders, or like it was very small, and the company was like built like with the sole purpose of ripping people off.
Perfect.
So the book says that the corporate veil can be pierced if there's 2 conditions present. The first one is a fraudulent purpose, like you were saying, like if they're purposefully committing fraud and all that stuff and trying to rip people off, then yeah. And then the other one is that the operation of the corporate business as though the corporation does not exist. So like when people treat it as like a different kind of like business entity instead of the corporation.
Okay. So say that second part again.
Okay, let's see. If they operate the corporate business as though the corporation does not exist. So just like treating it like some other kind of business entity instead of a corporation.
Okay. So let me read this. So correct answer, if the company was built for if the corporation, I gotta reword. Corporation was built for a fraudulent purpose, or if the corporation is operated as if it does not exist.
Yes. Yeah.
How's that
Should we
sound?
put and instead of or? The book says and. But I don't know how much of a difference it makes.
I'll switch that. So, and if the corporation is operated as if it does not exist.
And then like for one of the wrong answers, we could put like it can't be pierced. I don't know. Something like that.
So for feedback on that one, though, I'm just going to put these are the two conditions that must be met in order to pierce corporate veil. All right, so wrong answer 1. What were you saying, Allison?
Okay, that was weird. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like stopped the video, and now it's saying that I'm on here like twice. Do you see that? Is that showing
Yeah.
up as like
Yeah, it's just a frozen screen right there.
I don't know.
That's funny.
I'm gonna eject myself. Can I do that? Okay, hopefully this doesn't like put me out of the call. It worked, don't worry.
So for wrong answer 1, I was just I put if the consumer decides they don't like the board members, they can pierce the corporate veil.
Okay, that's a good reason. Wait, why is it making me join it again? I don't want to. That's so dumb. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, wait, it's gone. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay. So that one could be like our bogus answer that he wants.
Yeah.
And then are we gonna put what, like that it can't be pierced?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
1 second. For the feedback on that one, I'm putting the consumer cannot call the board members, or cannot hold the board members responsible for the outcome of business decisions for the legal outcome of business decisions. All right, so wrong answer number 2. We're saying the corporate veil cannot be pierced. And wrong answer 3.
There's another good example.
Yeah.
Oh, we could
You're cutting out again.
do like can only be pierced if can you hear? Okay, hopefully it works this time.
Yeah, I lost you there for a minute.
I know that was weird. Okay, so for the last example, I think that we should, or not example, the last like wrong answer. I was thinking we could put something like the corporate veil can only be pierced if the corporation has presence outside of the United States or something like that.
I like that. Perfect.
And then we can just put like for the explanation that it doesn't matter where the business is at, like, yeah, something like that.
Perfect. Okay. All right. I think we got everything we need then.
Okay.
I'm gonna say,
and I'll just email you the link to this so you can put it in the document.
perfect.
And then I will try to put it up on the Google community page. And if
Okay.
not, then I'll just send a text out. And since you have the link too, then I'll just have you try and put it up.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. See ya.
Bye.